a broad area of rotation. Looks like the area they're focusing on is going to be in between Ionia and Cole Camp, right along basically, again, Highway 65. It hopped on Highway 65 and it has just been taking that north through Benton County here so far this evening. So again, if you live now anywhere in Pettis County, south of Sedalia along Highway 65, you want to be getting into a shelter as that area of rotation is moving now towards you. So Spring Fork, Bonner, Manila, Windsor Junction, Mora in Benton County as well. Anywhere in proximity to Highway 65 in Pettis and northern Benton County need to be seeking shelter for really this section right here. So moving to the north and east at 30 miles an hour now. So in the next couple of minutes, we'll be talking about it going into passing through Spring Fork, Bonner, Windsor Junction, as well as Manila, Mora. And then again, this will be in effect until 8:15 p.m. this evening. We'll go back over and check on the National Weather Service chat, see if we've gotten any additional updates from any of our other areas here. Oh, still looking at so far 2 severe thunderstorm warnings for Morgan and Camden County, Miller County as well underneath a severe thunderstorm warning. And then there's a severe thunderstorm warning and then of course that tornado warning for southern Pettis County. So folks in Benton County, this is going to be leaving you here in the next couple of minutes, and then from there we'll be talking about it going up through southern portions of Pettis County. So that'll be folks who live anywhere south of Sedalia should be actively getting into a safe space, whether that's a basement, a storm cellar, storm shelter, the most interior room of your home, placing as many walls between yourself and the outside as possible. What are you seeing on your end there, Ashley?
Not seeing any new updates like you had mentioned, just kind of watching. Both the Kansas City and St. Louis National Weather Service are watching this system, and they've both mentioned how we're just seeing, and you've kind of mentioned this as well, just this big area of this rotation that we're getting. Even in our reflectivity, we can see it just getting sucked in right here where we have that little notch, and that's where we're starting to see that rotation that just kind of continuously tightens, and that's what's giving us really our tornado warnings. I'm talking about this right here where we're getting that tight rotation right in there where this whole storm is spinning, but then where we really see that tight rotation is in our velocity, and that's really where we're seeing that tornado warning. I just wanted to mention also, this storm does have a history. It was previously a confirmed tornado warning. Now it is just a radar confirmed or a radar indicated, tornado warning. That doesn't mean that we want to treat it any less important. It is still very important that you make it to your safe space. But we do know that this storm system does have a history of creating these tornadoes, and we have seen in the past, even when it was in Henry County, just getting into Benton County, we have seen storm reports from these storms of different trees that have been maybe knocked down, or branches that have been knocked down, houses that have had maybe siding taken off. And as that continues into Pettis County, again, we are radar indicated tornado warning, but we do know that this storm system has that history of creating that tornadic potential and these strong winds even outside of the tornado. So it is very important that you're making it to your safe space as we continue to watch this entire system as a whole, as it just continues to kind of stay pretty strong. It did kind of broaden up there for a little bit, where Kansas City was kind of hesitating to put that tornado warning into Pettis County, but it's since tightened up again. So again, we know it has that history of just kind of cycling on, and we are still looking at that tornado warning for portions of Pettis County, looking at that rotation more for right here, kind of near Spring Fork is where we're looking at that area of rotation. Places also near Bonner, wanting to make sure that you're in your safe space on their lowest level, most interior room. If you don't have a basement, a place like a hall closet or a bathroom is a great place. And if you're worried about leaving us behind, you can take us with you. We are streaming on our website and on our app as well. So if you don't want to leave that place where you have that TV to head to maybe a closet or a bathroom, which is a safer space. Make sure that you're watching us on streaming as well. You can take us with you. And then if you're in a mobile home, places out near Smithton, maybe even close to Sedalia, along 65 near Spring Fork Bonner, wanting to make sure that you're getting out of that mobile home and to your safe space, because your mobile home is not going to be safe in this kind of situation, even without the tornado warning. Just those winds that we've been seeing, making sure that you're getting into that safe space. So anywhere along 65 south of Sedalia and getting maybe along Highway 50 between Sedalia and Otterville, making sure that you're getting into that safe space as well as we continue to watch that rotation. But other than that, I haven't seen anything new. Riley, have you noticed that they've said anything else?
Not directly from the National Weather Service, but there has been someone who's been on this storm and has been kind of chasing along behind it. And they did report that there was some tree damage in Lincoln that this storm did cause. So going back to what you had mentioned, that what this storm has a history of doing, it does have a history of producing damage. Now, was it contributed to it, that damage contributed by the tornado or just the strong damaging wind gusts? That is something the team from the National Weather Service will be able to figure out when they go out and do any damage assessment after the storms have concluded. But again, it just goes to show this storm has a history of not just rotating, but also producing a radar confirmed tornado, to also then reports of damage being done to some trees, possibly even then power lines, we could say, would have been at least affected by this if it's strong enough to knock over those trees or anything like that. So again, there is a history of some damage being done by the cell. So folks in Pettis County, just north of the Benton County border, you're going to want to be seeking shelter in a safe space. I do know that Sedalia has one of the highest concentrations of storm shelters in our mid-Missouri viewing area. I remember looking into that back a couple of months ago, and there was a very high concentration of public storm shelters available in and around the Sedalia area. So if you are someone that does not live in a home that has a basement, or you don't feel comfortable where you are at now and would rather go to a place that is designated as a storm shelter, if you are near enough to Sedalia, the city of Sedalia, I would think about getting there, because again, like I mentioned, there is a high concentration. I think it's nearly 12 or 13 at least FEMA confirmed storm shelters in and around the Sedalia area from my memory looking back into this a couple of months ago. So again, there are options if you live in the Pettis County area and around Sedalia where you could seek shelter in a public storm shelter if you so desire. And if you're trying to find out where in and around the Sedalia or which buildings are classified, I would highly suggest looking up FEMA Missouri storm shelters, because they have a full list for every single publicly available storm shelter that is constructed and should be available to everybody on their website. They have it for, again, every single county in the state. And from looking at that, just basing off of our mid-Missouri counties, Pettis County had the highest concentration of public storm shelters out of any of our mid-Missouri counties. But you're getting really good surges of winds here out further off to the east and passing through Versailles as well. Versailles likely got some pretty good wind gusts moving through their area at this moment. Again, all along this line is likely where we're seeing the potential for 60+ mile-an-hour winds. And then, of course, here, just right along the Benton and Pettis County border, we're likely seeing that closer area of rotation where the possibility of a ongoing tornado would be found. So again, all along this line, we're talking about some pretty good wind gusts in excess of 50, 60 miles an hour. So all along this line, stretching all the way back, but it's really here, this section north of Lake Creek, that I would say we're watching it for any of the tornadic potential that these warnings are being issued for. So again, if you live in southern Pettis County, I would highly encourage you to be in your safe space already. If you live up by Sedalia and you would feel more comfortable going to a publicly declared storm shelter, again, there is, Pettis County has a high concentration of them, and that will extend to areas even outside of Sedalia. I believe there's a large quantity in and around the Sedalia area due to the state fair that takes place there, as they need to always have a bunch of availability for anybody who's out enjoying the state fair during its time happening. And then we've got now a new severe thunderstorm warning, looks like for Montauk, Cole County as well. You can see updating here, the new now flashing. That is our new severe thunderstorm warning that is going out. We'll go ahead and pull up the National Weather Service office there. So yeah, that is, and they're also, they've also added a tornado possible tag to that new severe thunderstorm warning for Cole and Montauk counties. So Cole and Montauk counties, again, it's a severe thunderstorm warning, but the National Weather Service has gone with a tornado possible tag because of this surging line of rotation all along this cell here. So we'll be watching for any kind of what we would call kinks in the line that develop, which is where you get a little bit of a notch where that rotation becomes less broad and tightens up a bit more, and that could be where we actively start to see a tornado attempting to develop. So yeah, let's see. For this QLCS, so again, this is not a perfect, just perfect visual supercellular structure look at a tornado where you can really see where that tornado is spinning, like the cells that produced the tornadoes in Kansas last night. Those are more supercellular. They were isolated. They were all on their own. This is a linear setup, as we call it, where we see a line like this, where anywhere along the line we could see the conditions becoming right enough that a kink develops and you start to get that notch and a spin-up tornado starts to happen. So again, it's a broad area. This whole cell is spinning, and I mean, this is a large cell stretching from Sedalia all the way back through Versailles, and then now it looks like we have yet another severe thunderstorm warning being issued. That is Howard and Cooper counties until 8:45 p.m. So even out ahead of the region of rotation back here in Pettis and Benton counties, we're looking at some strong winds really starting to buffet these areas. So all the way up towards Boonville, west of Columbia. Again, this cell, all along it, we'll be watching for any of these, like I've been saying, those kinks to develop, where we could see rotation tightening up and a tornado potentially developing. So it'd be a very quick developing situation. But switching now, this is our Springfield radar site, so a little further away from our Kansas City one. So we'll have to, we'll want to stick with the Kansas City one here, as the closer we are to the radar site, the better imagery we get closer to the surface. The further away it is, the beam is much higher up into the atmosphere, so you don't get a quality look at surface-based conditions, which is why, especially in this area, because we're so far from, we can be so far from St. Louis, Kansas City, and the Springfield radar sites, that, having trained spotters in and around this area is such a high importance for us, because when these storms start to get too far from the radar site, we're seeing things thousands of feet up in the air rather than maybe 1,000 feet up to just hundreds of feet up. Yes, Ashley.
I did want to say that the National Weather Service of St. Louis, for that tornado warning, or not tornado warning, excuse me, severe thunderstorm warning that we have in Morgan County, they are noting that they're seeing, with the whole entire system rotating, they are kind of monitoring a few spots for rotation. One that they had circled was just to the east of Versailles. Not seeing any crazy rotation there, but we are kind of seeing, like, I'm noticing that little notch right here that we have, just watching that. So that's kind of like when Riley's mentioning, we're watching for those areas, those little notches, kinks in the line, that's kind of the areas that we're going to be watching for. So even though there is no tornado warning for places near Versailles, Excelsior, High Point, there is a tornado possible tag on the severe thunderstorm warning, so making sure that you do know where your safe space is, maybe getting to it ahead of time, being a little bit preemptive as well. Just wanted to point out that they did point out that specific surge and something that they're currently monitoring for the potential for some rotation.
Yeah, like Ashley mentioned, like I mentioned earlier, this isn't the supercellular structure. These will be quick spin-up tornadoes that develop pretty rapidly. So you want to give yourself as much time as possible to be in a safe space. So yeah, even folks up here into Cole, Morgan County, Cooper County as well, if you want to start preparations to get into a safe space, whether that's your basement, a storm shelter that's publicly available, that you need to drive to, I would start considering doing that, because again, these could develop in very, very quickly. And like Ashley mentioned, the National Weather Service office is monitoring several locations where we could see that tornado develop. She pointed out the one out here by Versailles, and then really up just along this line, anywhere where we're seeing this very nice coupling of reds and greens. I mean, this is all just a large spinning section of this storm system. So anywhere along that is a place we need to be cautious about like I said, a kink developing and then becoming a tornado development from there. So anywhere from Eldon through Versailles towards California, Tipton, Syracuse, Florence, Otterville, Smithton, now starting to really get up towards the Sedalia area. Really consider just being in that safe space already. And again, the storm has slowed down just a tiny bit. Originally, it was moving 60 miles an hour, then it dropped to 45, and now I think it's still hovering around 45 miles an hour. So now, new update, they have extended the area. Well, this is actually just for the severe thunderstorm watch. So that's just now including Randolph, Cooper, and Howard counties. So they have extended the severe thunderstorm watch, but of course, right now our focus is 2 active tornado warnings, several severe thunderstorm warnings. All of them, I do believe, are placed with a tornado possible tag, because all along this leading edge is where we could see a tornado develop. So even areas that are not currently here in Pettis and Benton County that are underneath that tornado warning, even areas here in Cooper, Morgan, Montauk, Cole County, any of these locations that are underneath a severe thunderstorm warning, just be aware that these warnings are coming with the tornado possible tag, meaning we have to be extra vigilant for a spin-up tornado developing really along this edge. So again, a lot of area to keep an eye on. Current warning is in southeastern Pettis County. They're south and east of Sedalia, but even the folks in Sedalia should be cautious about this storm, because even further off to the west, it's not as pretty out here, but this is still some broader rotation, still likely getting some hail and some strong winds there as well. But this little tighter area here is likely where we're seeing that concern, and the reason why this tornado warning was issued was right along here. But even back further to the west, that's still broad rotation. That's still likely some powerful wind gusts. So again, this stretches from all the way out from near Windsor, back through areas south of Sedalia, up through Otterville. I mean, we can just trace this line all the way around the cell. But if we move a little further south here, this is now our Springfield radar site. So again, we're getting a little far away, so the imagery doesn't look as clean, doesn't look as good, but you can still at least see, especially around the Versailles area, even from this distance, that's rotation that's taking place pretty high up. So there's a lot of spin going on with this cell here, stretching from Benton, Pettis, and Morgan counties up towards Montauk County as well. Going back to our Kansas City site, we can see how much this storm is rotating from the Lake Ozark area, Eldon, all the way back up. All of here is where we could see a tornado develop if, again, the conditions become right for that, because it doesn't just happen just willy-nilly. Everything needs to be perfect. Everything needs to be perfect for a tornado to develop. And right now, I think Smithton, Otterville, Sedalia, that's going to be up towards Old Route 50 here. I believe that is Cooper County there. That's Old Highway 50, Old Route 50 in Cooper County. Folks who live out there will want to be seeking shelter in that, stretching all the way back to where it meets up with Highway 50 here in Pettis County. You want to be in shelter in a safe space, as here's where our ongoing tornado warning is occurring So that'll be north of Highway DD, out there along Highway 135. That'll be in Morgan County, from Florence, north and west from you. So Clifton City, even New Lebanon, Beeman, Sedalia, Smithton, even out towards Syracuse. You're looking at some broader rotation back here west of Syracuse. I know we already saw this kind of leading edge move through the Syracuse area, which is right there behind me, behind the computer, and that part has moved through, but you still have here just to the west of Syracuse some broad rotation, so some likely strong winds ongoing there as well. But let's pop over here to the National Weather Service, see if we have any updates from them. Okay, that's Jefferson County. Let's see here. Alrighty. Again, so if you're just tuning in with us, pretty active south and west of Columbia and Jefferson City, but that being said, this storm is still tracking towards Columbia and even portions of Jefferson City, especially back here. The stuff down by Lake Ozark is still would be a concern, even though the tornado warning is out here to the west and south of Sedalia. Folks, even in the Jefferson City region, should be aware that strong winds and the possibility of tightening rotation cannot be ruled out with this section that will track a little bit closer to the Jefferson City area. Columbia, same goes for you. This section out here is a little further to the west, but there's this broad rotation, and anywhere along this line, we could see that spin-up tornado developing. So anywhere, California, Ashland, Bunston, Boonville, Russellville, Jamestown, Woolridge, all these locations north and east of where the ongoing tornado warning is should be taking some precaution that this is, as the storm moves to you, as it still looks like this, where it's all this is spinning. You know, you'll want to be prepared to seek shelter in the event that a new tornado warning is issued due to that rotation tightening up and moving in. But it does look like, as of right now, they have expired the tornado warning for Benton County, and it does look like, I think, the tornado warning has ended for Pettis County as well. But again, so with that said, we will be able to send it back to regularly scheduled programming, but I want to leave you with one last message. All along this line, this is still concerning. So each of these severe thunderstorm warnings, if I'm not mistaken, has come with a tornado possible tag. So while we will send it back to regularly scheduled programming now, since we no longer have any active tornado warnings, don't be surprised if you hear from us again in not too distant future, as we'll be watching this cell extremely closely. But with that said, we will go ahead and send it back to regularly scheduled programming.